Hey, Win, you must have had so much fun watching somebody buy your vinyl and then play it in a record store and then put it on YouTube and for that to go viral as one of the greatest postmodern releases of all time.
You got to give the kids what they want, you know?
This is brilliant. And the fact that there were people just like talking in the background and just selling records in the background was awesome.
That's actually the final audio.
That would be something else. So you're back now, Everything Now the song, Everything Now the album, July 28th, the release date. How do you feel on a day like today when music is out there and people are enjoying it?
I mean, it's kind of what it's all about. Like, you know, we've been working on music for the last 4 years, for this, 3-4 years. So just to finally have people hear the work is amazing.
I always wonder how a band like yourself, which inspires so much interest and so much curiosity and we're very sort of insatiable as fans, how you keep such a low profile when you're recording for 4 years.
It's just called being old. If there's nothing to talk about, there's nothing to talk about. I mean, it's people don't need to know what we're eating for breakfast every day for 4 years.
Where was the record recorded? What can you tell us about the actual environment of this particular song? Because it sounds very free and wide open. I mean, where did you actually make it?
We recorded a lot of the record in New Orleans. We have a tiny studio. It's probably like 10 feet by 18 feet or something. So
that's crazy. The sound you're getting out of that room is crazy.
That one, a couple tracks we recorded in Paris at Thomas from Daft Punk's studio. So that one was a combination. It's kind of an interesting one because there's a flute part on it, which is originally from a Francis Bébé song. We found his son, Patrick, lives in Paris. And so he actually played on the record, which is this really beautiful kind of full circle thing where it's like his dad's song and he's playing the part live with us in the studio in Paris.
God, that's brilliant. I mean, imagine if that was the case for every artist that we ever wanted to sample, or every break or groove or any beautiful little melody we wanted to use. There was somebody in the family that could just recreate it like that, you know?
It's so beautiful. He's playing with us tonight in Barcelona. We'll be kind of playing the song live for the first time, and he'll be playing it with us. It's a really beautiful full circle thing.
How was it like when you played the song for the first time? I mean, I don't know if you recorded it as a band or not. I'm not sure about the mechanics of it, but getting it right and getting it ready to perform tonight, when did you feel really confident, like you guys had it?
Man, we really worked on it a long time. I mean, it was one of those songs that just kind of came into existence without thinking about it. But then to get the arrangement right and figure out how to play it, took the better part of a year. I mean, we played it in so many different. I could probably play you 150 different demos of Everything Now that, just to find the right balance of stuff. There's probably somewhere there's like a 20-minute version of The Suburbs. There's probably a 20-minute version of Everything Now that, like with 20 different verses. And
hang on, what do you mean by somewhere? Like, I mean, this is your legacy. Like, what do you mean somewhere there's a 20-minute version of one of your greatest pieces of music?
On some hard drive somewhere. I mean, like, honestly, like I probably could. There's probably an hour of lyrics for Everything Now, to be honest, like, because it's been distilled down, but it was just one of those songs that it took that much to distill it.
I'm looking at the people that you work with on this record, and I'm so inspired just on paper. I mean, Steve Mackey, I love. You talked about Thomas from Daft Punk, and Jeff Barrow, who's a friend of mine, as well as someone I admire greatly. I mean, how was that experience working with Jeff from Portishead?
Jeff, we've kind of gotten to know over the years from playing festivals, and I love, like, Portishead is a band that they put out a record every 10 years, and it's like always spectacular and sounds so good. They're kind of like the Terrence Malick of bands, where it's just like, cool, take 10 years, it's all good. Yeah, he came down to New Orleans. Steve Mackey was, like, Pulp is one of my all-time favorite British bands, and he's just been a really good friend. He was like our tour DJ, and I DJ with him a lot, and he has such amazing taste in music. And yeah, like, Steve really went to war with us. Like, he was like in the trenches in New Orleans for like a year and a half. And then Marcus Draves, who's worked on Suburbs and Neon Bible and everything, was there for part of it, and Thomas was down in New Orleans with us, and then we did some sessions with him in Paris as well.
It sort of feels to me like, having heard music, and I don't want to be obviously too presumptuous and suggest to listeners that I know too much, but having heard, some more music, it feels to me like this album, really, when I look at all your records, is a beautiful reflection of elements of all of them. In particular, I think of like the groove of Reflector, and I think of how much you were pushing towards the dance floor in a very kind of cool and very kind of like restrained way. And then I think of The Suburbs, and I think about this really ambitious, overarching emotional narrative in The Suburbs. And it feels like Everything Now kind of has elements of that, whilst not being tied to it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it feels like that's all coming together on this record.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably our most coherent. I mean, most of the songs are kind of interrelated in terms of transitioning from one to another. I think it'll be a really weird one for playlists because like every song has transitional elements from other songs. And
Oh, nice use of the streaming lingo there, Win. Nice to just to pull that in. Nicely done.
I really love the playlist. The White Album is a really good playlist. London Calling is really one of my favorite workout
You
playlists.
know, I love your Neon Bible playlist. You know, I'm a big fan of that.
It's a good playlist. Yeah, it's not an album. Everything now is just it's actually a playlist.
Primavera this weekend, and you know we see all sorts of cool, interesting things rolling out. And I'm not going to get you to give away stuff because I know that's part of the treasure hunt for fans. It's not up to me to snoop around that hard. But do you have fun kind of thinking about new and interesting ways that you can actually, you know, surround the music and put the music out and put it in front of people? Because you've been doing that for a while now. The way we discover your music, whether it's putting it out on vinyl without your name on it or whatever you're doing this time, it sounds, you know, that playfulness of Arcade Fire feels like it's just a part of who you are now.
I mean, if you're not having fun with putting music in the world, it's like maybe get a different gig. I don't know. It's for me, it's really the fun, joyful thing. And you know, I mean, it's like we're like trucking around a ton of gear and like setting it up in every city, and it's like so much work and so much effort. And if it's not fun, it's like, what are you doing? You know, I mean, our fans wait a long time in between our records. Like kids have like graduated high school in the time since we put out Reflectors. So it's like we don't necessarily take it for granted that everyone's still going to be into us. It's like you're kind of finding a new fans and like the whole time, you know, it's like just kind of feels like you're starting a new band every time.
Are there tricks and treats that we've yet to discover? Are there things that you sit around with the band and go like, I can't believe no one picked up on that or found that little thing slid down the back of the couch?
I don't know. People are pretty bored these days, so they find a lot of stuff. But yeah, it's interesting. It's like,
You must have buried a few things pretty deep, I reckon, over time.
well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I guess so. So in terms of performing live, can you play this whole album live now? Do you reckon you've got the bones of it down if you had to?
Probably about half of it, but no, it takes a while. I mean, it's kind of a different organism. I mean, I think that's part of what makes this band special is like there's the records, which we really labor over, and then the live thing we kind of allow to be its own creature.
Oh my God. And I think about your journey from when you first started playing those shows as Funeral and who you are now as a band. And even if you just take a look at that and fast forward, you know, it's incredible to think you were so ambitious from the beginning and now to continue performing live and to drive that message is, you know, you must, I don't know if you allow yourself the chance to reflect over that time, but it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I think I feel very fortunate to have this group of people, and I think everyone in the band is genuinely an artist and loves art and thinks that this whole song and dance has some kind of value. And yeah, I mean, it's like critical thinking and having fun. I mean, it's all related to what's going on, I think. So just trying to stay like connected.
One more question before you go. What is Everything Now? What does the title mean to you? Where does the title come from for this particular record for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of the idea of everything nowness is everything that happens in the world is surrounded by a whole cloud of other garbage, some of it fake, some of it real, some of it true. And I just think it's kind of like a sheen on existence. I don't know. I mean, for me, that's what it is, but it might be different for someone else.